Hi Stephen, I got your second writing a couple of days back, and I let me see if I can make it slightly bigger. Yes, now I think you will be able to see all about me. I think it is a little too tall claim that it doesn't have all the information about you, so you might want to rethink about it. We will explore more title options and how to really come out with something more specific and based on what you're writing uh, in our future lessons. And also another trick is never to start with a title. You write your passage and then think about what title you want to give based on, after reading it a couple of times, then you will be able to come out with something more specific and appropriate based on what what your essay is all about. I think last time I had mentioned that hello is to be avoided when you're writing. You have to read my comments more carefully and then do the rewriting bit. A few points which I had mentioned, you have not taken care of, though you have come out with a lot more details, which is a good thing. So I mean, I see signs of improvement right there because you've included a little more details, but you have to read all my comments carefully, otherwise I won't be able to repeat my comments every time you are resubmitting. So my comments are once mentioned, a second time I might probably skip it, so then you will lose that. So try to go through it correctly and try to follow that. Very specific. If you want, you make a note of some important things you want to remember yourself. Hello, my name is Stephen Vacha and I am 10 years old. I live in Atlanta, Georgia with my dad, mom, and younger sister. That's a very nice introduction because that gives some kind of a time and place for your essay. I go to Level Creek Elementary and I'm entering fifth grade. Probably you can mention when, in a few more weeks time or in August or something like that. Entering means it is time bound, so it's better to mention what is the time period you're looking at. My sister Jillian is 7 years old and I was born and was born in Atlanta. She is going to second grade, and you can also probably mention about your relationship with her, how well you play with her, or how nice she is to you, or something, or how much you fight, or something like that. So that can bring in a little bit of emotion between you, brother and sister, and that might be nice about you more than just mentioning just the name and her age and where she was born, what she is and how she is and what she expects from you and what you expect from her and what kind of things you do together or something like that. It might be a little more interesting detail for a reader. Most of your essays full of information, and we will gradually deviate from that, improve from there. Information is good, but I think we in a writing, to make it more personal, you always have to write a little bit about your experience, share your experience, your feelings, your understanding of things, your expectations, your anticipations, concerns, worries, all these things you should be sharing, because this information is something which even your father could have written this similar information, or your mother could have written, even your sister would have probably been able to write all this information you've written in as your profile. But your profile, when you are writing about yourself, it should be something only you should be able to write. That's the trick in making it very unique. So see how you can make it very distinctly different, where you are contributing a lot more ideas into your profile. That happens only when you are sharing your experiences, your feelings about each and every information you are sharing. For I'm giving some examples here. They're very they're my imagination. So think about such smaller details which you can add. I've given a few here in these comments which I have given, but I'm sure you will be able to think through a lot more. And as we go ahead in future, when you're writing more and more essays, gradually you will change. In a couple of months' time, you will look back and see, oh my goodness, how I have been writing, and see how I have written now. So the change will happen gradually. My dad and mom were both born in the southern tip of India. Tip of India, like I've mentioned here, is it's a very specific point, geographically. So you might want to mention southern state or something like that, a little more broader, because people who are reading this might not be familiar with India, and so might not be very keen on knowing which place exactly, but it might be helpful to mention what kind of a place they're coming from, whether they're coming from a small town or a village, or it's an island or whatever, or from the mountains or by the beach or whatever, and how advanced that place is, and how their life has been, and now they're living in Atlanta, and for how many years, and what brought them here, and what kind of changes they've gone through. They were in a village and they're living in a big city now, working in America. Probably there is a story out there, in which you could mention a couple of sentences, couple of details. My dad was born in Pulingoda. Mentioning the place name, I don't know how much it'll help for a reader who doesn't know Pulingoda. You can say probably it is on the backwaters, and with a lot of coconut trees, and it is a village place, and you know stuff like that. My mom was born in Alu, and what is more prominent about that place? Probably you can mention. My dad is an engineer. What kind of engineer? So that's that kind of. He's a computer engineer or an architect or a mechanical engineer. Or what sort of an engineer he is? That might help. And he works at Advo Opticals. My mom is a nurse practitioner and works at CVS Pharmacy, and I've given some details about how you could have made it into a little more interesting, like how probably your mom has selected to work in CVS pharmacy because she has flexible timing, and therefore she can take you for various classes and be there at home, and you guys come from school, or maybe because she has overtime where she can take a few more extra days off, for every few days she's working, and something of that sort, and something related to how your father's job and your mother's job is helping or not helping your life. You can probably mention something about that, something you like about their jobs. All those things can figure out in your profile. It doesn't hurt. My favorite sport is soccer. Why is it your favorite sport, and since when? Which is the team you really like, and how often do you watch a game, or where do you go to play, and how often do you get to really participate in a game, and how many games have you won? Who are your favorite players, and players in the sense, you're from among your friends, and with whom you play. Do you play with your dad? Do you play with your sister? Or do you have friends in your subdivision? How is it? Or do you get to play in the school? How many hours you might be playing in a week? Some information might be helpful. I love to play soccer during my free time. That's a very loose term, free time. In the evenings, on my weekends, something like that might be more specific. I also like to play video games. What sort of video games, and how many hours you play? And you can talk a little bit about. I'm very good at soccer video games. Maybe because I like video games and soccer, and I'm able to get soccer related video games. And FIFA 13 is my favorite, and then you're going to your favorite food, and that is boneless wings. And do you want to explain why you like boneless wings? Because it's a lot less troublesome to eat boneless wings from Wendy's, or you have a Wendy's next to your house, or your family is into going to Wendy's more often, something like that, or your father brings home, or your mother brings home some Wendy's wings, whenever they get time. What is it? Why do you like Wendy's wings? I love their crispy chicken sandwich. Okay, my favorite movies, Nemo, and I have some comments here which you read. I like to read adventure and fantasy books, a little more details. I would like the Lightning Thief. I love that book. You have to give reasons for every little statement you're giving. Once you read these comments which I have given, you will understand. You will get an idea. Oh, these areas I could have given some I could have given some details here. Oh, I should have explained. I should have given what I felt, and I should probably be giving more details so that the reader is convinced. It cannot Writing cannot be a bunch of some statements or some information. It has to have share your personal experience. My favorite subject is math. Again, you have to explain. I think I had given this feedback that math, it starts with a capital, and why you like math and why algebra and what makes it interesting. I'm in the accelerated math program at my school, and how that helps. I've given some tips here, so you can read that. I have many good friends both at school and at church. What church you go to and how often do you go? And what do you like about church? In the summer, I get to play. Uh, I get play dates with and sleepovers with my close friends. And how many of them are there? How often do you get these the play dates and sleepovers? Do you go to somebody else's house and sleep? And what do you do there? What do you look forward to in a play date or a sleepover? You can explain a lot more than that. This summer I went to India to visit my family. How often do you go to India? And what was your memories from last time? Who all are there? Why do you go to India so often? Are your grandparents alive? If so, what do you like about them? How many cousins you have? And I had a nice plane ride. I think it's nice to it's better to mention as it as flight. I got to play with my cousins and visited a lot of my family members. You can use a better word, relatives. It was raining all the time there when you were there. It's what? How long you were there? Probably you can mention that. I got a lot of mosquito bites. How do you feel about it? Don't you want to tell us how horrible that was? Mosquito bites? And are you used to that in Atlanta? You're not. So, how did it change your life there? Or did you really get sick with mosquito bites? Do you have an allergy towards it, or are you all right with that, or something which you can forgive and forget? So tell us more about it. My goal for this year is to improve myself, and I've written some comments saying that you should be including this writing program and that as your goal, among so many other things is your plan. You cannot, because you're essentially writing about your profile and not about the writing program. So giving so many sentences, one, two, three, four, five, almost 6 lines you've given in this small passage, which is hardly one page. That's a lot talking about the writing program, because the passage itself is not about writing program, it's about you. So I would like to read more about you and a little less about the writing program, that we will write as a separate one. So overall, but you have made an attempt to include a lot more details, and that is a good sign, and I really like it. So I will be sending you another topic tomorrow, and right now I will send this one to you, and tomorrow you will get to see my new topic. And always read my comments carefully with respect to each highlight. This is how you read. See, Alva, and I have these comments. Work set, something related to that I've written here. Soccer, very, Nemo, like that. You click on each part and you will get to see, so you will know with respect to each one where this comment is connected to. It is here. Algebra, give some reasons. Church, you know the church. School, so like that you click and you will get to see the corresponding comments. Okay, so good night.